Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now these are your full moon general readings for the sign that's in the title below. As ever, bulk introduction, timestamp below, but listen to it just once through. Because I would advise that you listen to three of these. Your sun, obviously, your moon sign, because hey, it's a full moon, and your rising sign, as that's the most important to your story. So watch all three if you've got the time. Now, this is full moon in Virgo, 8 degrees of Virgo. So I'm not going to talk long about the astrology of this full moon, because if you follow the link to the Facebook page to this channel that's in the description below, you'll notice that I've posted a lot of the astrologers' analysis and breakdown and weather forecast videos about this full moon, and they're going to do it better than I do. Also, there's an inbox on that page, so if you want to contact me directly for a personal reading, there's a good way to do it. But this full moon, 8 degrees Virgo, so this moon is ruled by Hariel, the angel Hariel, who represents in astrology long-range vision and purification, which is, I find, a very, very interesting symbol. Because obviously this is all on the backdrop of Saturn square Uranus, the force for tradition and rules and endings, but tradition and rules against the new, the innovative, the chaos elements that Uranus will bring through. So Saturn is ruling this chart like it did on the new moon chart, and I talked about that back in the new moon videos. Now Saturn at 8 degrees Aquarius is now being ruled by Nelchael, who, interestingly, is an angel about eradicating plague and an ardent desire to learn. So it's almost like the Saturn energy is like, yeah, this may be the way we've always done it, and we've got to stay in the way that we've always done it, but we've also got to learn to do it better in these limitations because it's not working. As simple as that. It's not working. Now, as I say, Nelchael or Saturn is ruling this chart, so we're looking at eradicating plague, which you can't deny the symbolism of that one at the moment. But what is interesting is, out of the chart itself, the most talkative angels are Sahalia and then Kahatel. Now, let me just check because I didn't write it down. Sahalia is ruling both Venus and Lilith, and Kahatel is, Kahetel, sorry, I should say, is ruling Pluto and Chiron, like I think Kahetel has been doing for a while. Now, the conversations that are going on here is Sahalia represents letting go and mental force. So it's eyes on the prize. That's where we're headed, and all this other stuff is not necessary. Whereas Cartel is all about diffusing negative energy. And as I say, those are the two most talkative angels in this chart, theoretically, all subservient to Nelchael in this chart. However, they are pretty much talking to all the planetary degrees, all the other angels at the moment. So it's almost like the king says one thing and the advisors are going, are you sure? Are you really, really sure? Do you not think there's a better way of doing it? What if you think about this way? What if you think about that way? But I think there's a better way of doing it. And they're going around the royal court and they are building up support, or they're acting like the chief whip of a political party, doing exactly the same, drumming up the support. Have I got your vote? So there's also this is directed, or the spotlight of this conversation is the moon, Hariel, long range vision and purification. That's the agenda that they are putting on the table in front of Nelchael or Saturn. And it's really interesting because the moon is quincunx, or I should say, as Rick Levine would say, quincunx Saturn. So Saturn doesn't really know what the moon's on about at all. You know, it's almost like, yeah, newfangled stuff, not my thing. Um, but it is necessary, and that's why we have the this influence of Sahalia with letting go, and then Kahatel just keeping everything calm, diffusing the negative energy. Yes, that's going to be awkward, but we can do it. And Sahalia, with their mental force, can go, hell yes, we can. Well, maybe not hell, they're an angel, but oh yes, we can do this. So there's, it's really highlighting an agenda shift. Now, the astrologers will also have mentioned it's good for relationships, this full moon. Again, go and watch all the astrology videos that I've posted. I'm seeing, looking at it from the degree angels level, this is, it's like that tagline, things will never be the same again. We are setting the agenda for the new world. We have a new world. I've not heard that phrase, the new normal, so much recently, but there's still a lot of political agenda to try and make the old normal return. But let's be honest, it's not going to happen. It is a new world. It's a new world every day. Oh, that, I'm sure that's a song. But it's a new world every day anyway, but it is very much a new world. And Saturn, in its square to Uranus, in its quincunx to the moon, is, I'm almost seeing, desperately trying to hold things together, which I think is quite, yeah, look at the news. Saturn is definitely trying to hold things together, and at some points it's succeeding, and at some points it's fading. But the counsel of the angels here is to try and just, let's make this process a bit easier. Now, what is interesting with Saturn as well is this, where have I written 8 degrees Aquarius? This is Spider-Man's Saturn. This is the Saturn on the first publication date when Spider-Man first hit the stands back in 1960 something, which I completely forget off the top of my head. But there is that message, with great power comes great responsibility. So Saturn is almost forced to accept that things have to change somewhere. And of course, Saturn is in Aquarius. It is looking more towards the future. It is looking to expand, to work with the community. Now, the symbols, after I'd figured all this out, I went and had a look at the various symbols for 8 degrees Virgo. And yeah, you'll have to forgive me. It's obvious I'm reading from the screen. So first we'll start with the inside degree, a man mixing cement. So we've got this image of, if you're mixing cement, you're building something, you're creating something. But the explanation of the image says jammed tight with concepts, thinking about what you are doing, interpretations, evaluations, opinions, and surmises, void of heart force, believing in progress, bent upon success. You strictly, rigidly carry out what the mind dictates. It goes a bit dark here. A form of ignorance that is very clever. Something missing in the soul. Compensations on top of compensations, exceedingly busy, hyper with plans, projects, and enterprises. You're very good at achieving results, riveted with to the phenomena, but prone to casting shadows that come back to haunt. So again, we see the reason for that influence of Cahatel, of the diffusing the negative energy, because everybody wants the world to return to normal really, really quickly. But that ain't going to happen, or at least the old normal ain't going to happen. But I love that, just that one image of the man mixing cement. This is the point where we start building. The new moon was, if I remember correctly, was all about finally integrating and starting to act on all the lessons that we've learned during the Capricorn cluster and 2020, which I think is very nearly ended. Well, or at least March 2020 has very nearly ended. Well, we may be in the 450th of March, but you know, we can see the turn of the page coming. Now, the Sabian symbol is equally as intriguing, and this one more encouraging. So the Sabian symbol is an expressionist painter at work. The interpretation saying about boldly breaking new ground. We must carve out our own path according to our own sense of who we are and what only we can do. Our right to be unique and our ability to express in this uniqueness creatively must be asserted. We must take it. It cannot be bestowed by a teacher. It is only the potential to be original that is a given in life. Originality itself must be assumed. Life is risky and we have to live with that. So again, there's that balance of, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and the fact that things need to change. Uranus is going, oh yeah, change, change, bring change. But again, Uranus, that's its natural spirit. In Taurus, that change is not really as fast. Some astrologers say that Uranus in Taurus, it's almost like it's, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's probably thinking about it wildly, but not going to do it. And then, bam, that's where the lightning strikes, because it just can't hold back anymore. Now, there is a thing called seed degrees and fulfillment degrees that I've learned from a blog, John Sandback, I think his name is. But for this full moon at 8 degrees Virgo, the where things come to a head for whatever is stated here or set into motion here. So stated as in a natal chart, or set into motion as in, you know, just the mundane transit chart. The fulfillment degree is 13 degrees Gemini. So I rather think that that is a point to be watching out for when other planets come to pass 13 degrees Gemini. The other interesting things that I noticed, Mercury, 13 degrees Aquarius. This is and of course I'm going to talk about comics and magic. This is the Mercury of Grant Morrison. Now, if you are familiar with Grant Morrison as a writer, superb writer, really likes to put layers upon layers upon layers of what it is that he's putting forward. You know, whether it's his signature series, The Invisibles, which went really deep into all sorts of woo-woo, or just his time on the Justice League of America, where it was like big concepts that would stick with you and you'd still be thinking about them several days later. Also, Israel Regadi of the Golden Dawn, this is his Chiron. So without diving into the details of Israel Regadi's life, there's that opening for disciplined magical healing is what I'm seeing from that, because that's how I'm assuming Chiron can be interpreted within Israel Regadi's chart, or at least taking it out of his chart and looking at it with the rest of the world. So these readings, they are same as ever, by sign. It's the gods that play reading. We look at the gods that are supporting you during this period, and we look at the more archontic forces, or the gods that aren't really gods. Their energies designed to suppress you and keep you away from your glorious destiny, soul function, soul purpose, yes, soul function, which will be on the top row of the reading. it is a look at the energies. You can ask a question like I'd normally ask you to within your monthlies, but I ain't going to guarantee that there will be an answer. And again, like any form of tarot scope, it's either it makes sense to you or it doesn't. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's probably not for you. This is a YouTube reading. I am not sat with you face to face. So it's either going to confirm what you already know, stroke success, suspect, give or take the influence of confirmation bias, or it's not. And if it's not, then you can probably ignore it. Or maybe just think about it and then forget about it unless something occurs that makes you go, oh, yes, we know a song about that. So obviously, like, share, subscribe, join the Facebook page, because that way it's a one-stop shop for all the astrology videos as well as my videos. And like I say, you can contact me there. Subscribing to the channel really does help the channel. Liking helps the algorithm boost the video. I'm sure you know the YouTube politics by now, so if you're so inclined, please do help my YouTube politics, or Google politics, as Chris Witecki calls it. That's everything. I've waffled long enough. Let's crack on with the reading. Cheers. Okay, Taurus, the first thing that I notice here is that there's something that is dangled in front of you that promises safety, promises protection, promises a new start, promises a sense of truth and home and hearth, that is in and of itself a trap because it is preventing you from some form of transformation. So we'll notice on the Archontic row, those masks that the Archons wear to keep you suppressed and miserable and vibrating in all the lower energies and what have you. We have Beauty appearing twice. First with Helen of Troy with Beauty, and then Biame with Beauty. Then Eos, goddess rather, of the dawn, of the new day. Vesta with Home, and the first thing as I laid that card that sprang to mind was Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth, which is a gift of Hestia's, and then Hecate with Protection. But also Hecate is known for, or has been known for, being a little double-edged in her statements. So there's something that is offered to you. There's something that you see, something where you go, oh yes, that's beautiful, that's gorgeous, that answers my need for security, for safety, that will protect my home, it will create a whole new world. And there is the fear with Beirevra here of, but what if I don't take this opportunity? Now, what I would say is, does this opportunity offer you transformation? You know, yeah, it's a new day, but there's new days and there's new days. Yes, we have the devil representing, or as I like to call it in this deck, the Red Forest, clarifying the Helen of Troy card. Now, the Red Forest in the 12 Monkeys is a state of no change. It's preserving something forever in that perfect moment, and it will never cease to be, which, another word for that is stagnant. So this new day that is promised it promises to be more of the same old, but with less hassle. Whereas those gods that are supporting you, and you've got a very curious mix here, we have Prometheus with sacrifice, Lu with skill, Creusa with secrets, Amaterasu with self-esteem, and Pele with transformation. So this offer that's made to you, this excuse me, this that will sort out all of your problems and what have you. seems to not give you any greater self-esteem, not give you any sense of transformation. As I say, it's like same old, same old. But I mean, you can see it so clearly. But where's the adventure? What Bayrevra here from the Daemon Tarot is talking about. Bayrevra was a complete invention of Colin de Plancy, a bastardized version of Bhairava, a Hindu deity, and he saw Bhairava as a force of destruction, which Bhairava is, but Bhairava punishes the guilty, and Bhairava just destroys. But he also tried to minimize that destructive force in the way he represented it, as you can see, just a man sat down cradling the head of his enemy rather than some monstrous hurricane or something. But the truth is, he was talking about something that he didn't understand and he was scared of. And a little bit of research and a little bit of further investigation would have would maybe have caused him not to create Bayrevra in the first place. Now, the reason I think that is relevant is when we have Creusa here with secrets. Creusa was, now I've forgotten who it was that she married. But anyway, she had a child out of wedlock that she got rid of and married some noble, some king or whoever. And then the king ended up adopting the child because he knew this child to be parentless. And Creusa saw this child as an invader, as an enemy, when it was actually her own son. So the secret became a poison that drove two people apart that should have been firm with their love of one another, but their love of one another never actually started. So when whatever this offer is that's made to you, look deeper. Really, really look deeper. Find out more, investigate, because that's what these cards are saying. And yeah, you may have to give up what it is that you are, what is promised you. That's not such a bad thing, even though I think it's going to be ouch. But with the influence here of Vasaria, clemency and equilibrium, I'm rather thinking that whatever this beautiful offer is, there's a certain amount of extremity with it. Extremity makes you think of hands and feet, doesn't it? Extremeness, where extremity is the proper word. But you know what I mean? It's like you've got to do something over and above to achieve this beauty, to achieve this myth of the perfect moment that is forever sustainable. There is something that where it's far better that if there's something it is obvious that you need to give it up, whether that's a person, a friendship, a thing, a habit, a job even, then give it up. Give it up. You will feel better for it. You will be transformed through the experience and you will get a new beginning, a proper, firm new beginning by doing the research, finding out what your alternatives are to this. Oh, so beautiful. You know, basically, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And that's what's being told here. And you want to, the story that's being told here, and you want to definitely measure. If you take this offer And the very design of my reading says don't take the offer. If you take this offer, how will you feel about yourself afterwards? We have the Angel of Eternal Love covering the entire deck. As I let love in, it stays in my soul forever. And so making that sacrifice, saying, no, I'm not taking this wonderful new opportunity because it's not real, is the path forward for a whole lot of self-love. That I'm not saying that you will hate yourself otherwise, if you do take the offer, but you won't get any better at loving yourself. And that's part of the point of our whole journey here, to love ourselves and to love others. And you can't really love others successfully until you love yourself properly. So it's almost like this perfect frozen moment that's offered to you. That's, I had the word in my head there. It's second prize. Or consolation prize. It's not the prize. So take advantage of Uranus in your sign and dive for that transformation, because I think really you are going to be surprised by where it leads you. Whereas if you take this wonderful offer that offers you this perfect moment and this security and safety, then that is, as Asmodee says on the bottom of this card, simply a matter of lust and weak will, and therefore you won't think so highly of yourself otherwise. Well, that was blunt, wasn't it, Taurus? But that's what I'm seeing. I mean, this bottom row is lovely. We have Prometheus clarified by the Queen of Wands. Prometheus being that sacrifice, being that doing things for the betterment of everyone and mankind, is something that you can manifest. Queen of Wands. With your own skill, that you can make a commitment to it. Four of Wands, and by diving into the ins and outs and diving into the secrets and the information, you make your own new beginning, a grounded new beginning. Ace of Pentacles here rather than the Ace of Swords of a new day. Yeah, you're perfectly clear on what it is. Do you want to be perfectly clear on what your future is from here till the next 30 years? No, you don't. Because mystery will bring challenge, challenge will bring growth. If there's no mystery, there's no challenge. No challenge, no growth. Amaterasu is self-esteem, clarified here by the Ace of Cups. So it's not just like you get a little bit better at loving yourself and that's the end of the matter. It's like an ever-flowing fountain of self-love and dreams and creativity. So yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, right? Pele, transformation with the Three of Pentacles. So you get recognized for the deed that you have done here by making whatever this sacrifice is. That's the good future. Whereas if you take the Archon's offer, yeah, things are okay. You won't be unhappy, but I'm not even sure you would be content, just because you get it's like the tale of the Nine of Cups. Just because you get everything that you wish for doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. So if there's something you need to give up, do it. If it's too good to be true, then it's too good to be true. Okay, Taurus, so comment down below if that means anything to you. That's quite an interesting one. And we'll see you at the monthlies. Cheers.